I'm Christian Lamitschka. Today for Country Music News International, I'd like to present you the Oak Ridge Boys. Welcome to Country Music News International.
Thank you. It's good to see you again.
The Oak Ridge Boys are, we can call them a living legend. They are for many years now in the music business. They are what Sissy Top is for the rock business. The Oak Ridge Boys are for the country music business. Just for the new country fans in Europe who might be hearing about you for the first time, could you please introduce yourself?
I'm Richard Stern. I'm the bass singer.
And I'm Dwayne Allen.
I'm Joe Bonzo, leading the Sausage and Biscuit.
And I'm William Lee Golden. So howdy, y'all.
So I recognize you have a new CD. It's Only Natural. How did you come up with the title?
Well, we've been into Cracker Barrel, which is a family-style restaurant here in the United States. We've been in there many times. We love to go in there to eat and to look around at all of the gifts and things they have in the front part. While you're waiting for your table to be seated, there are many things in the front part of Cracker Barrel that you might want to purchase. Unusual things. In fact, some of the items you might find in front of Cracker Barrel are items that may be called like a throwback, or things that they're one of a kind. And a few years ago, Cracker Barrel got into the music business, and they started to select groups and acts that attracted the same type of audience appeal that comes to Cracker Barrel to eat. While we were in there, we noticed they were getting into the music business. And I noticed one of the first things they did is you could rent a CD, put it in your car, listen to it on the way to your next Cracker Barrel, turn it in there, and then they got into purchasing massive amounts of CDs and selling them. You could also buy them at that place at the same time. So it was kind of a natural for the Oak Ridge Boys. In fact, that's what Cracker Barrel decided to call the new CD, It's Only Natural. We had done a Cracker Barrel project before of Greatest Hits, and it did really well. So when they did their test market to see what acts would be favorable to the Cracker Barrel market, the Oak Ridge Boys came up in the top part of that survey that they did a poll on. And when we had our meeting with them, it was pretty much decided before we ever sat down in the chair that this would be a good marriage. We had wanted to do a project with Cracker Barrel for some time, but they were going through personnel changes. So we waited until their personnel changes had locked in, and then we contacted them and told them, look, we would still like to do a new project with Cracker Barrel. They like to include familiar songs or hit songs, complete with some brand new songs that are only sold exclusively at Cracker Barrel. So we had a period of time where we had 6 songs that we had never re-recorded. All 6 of those songs had been well-known hits for the Oak Ridge Boys in one way or another, but we had never packaged them and we had never re-recorded them. We had never put them on stage. So we decided, let's go back and reinvent these songs and put with these 6 songs, 6 more songs for a total of a 12-song package, and include another song which has been monstrous for us, Elvira. And that's the biggest selling song we have ever had in our career. And it's a 30-year anniversary of Elvira, so we called in our own producer and brought Elvira up to date. And when he came in, when Ron Chansey, our legendary producer, came out of retirement to reproduce us and re-record Elvira, he brought 2 great new songs with him. They're included on this album as well. And someone else can talk about that.
So, excuse me when I say this, but as oldest boy band in country music business, I believe there are a lot of good stories you can share with our readers here on Country Music News International. Is there one, each of you can tell one, which comes directly to your mind?
Well, I think one of the greatest things that's happened to us recently was being inducted into the Grand Ole Opry. We are now members of the legendary Grand Ole Opry. It made a gigantic highlight for us last year. An incredible honor. We've always been friends of the Opry. We've always gone down and played at the Grand Ole Opry whenever they have asked us to. But to now have been inducted as official members of the Opry, I think that's one of the most meaningful things that's happened to us in a long time. So it's been a great part of our career as individuals, as a group, to now be able to say that we're members of the Grand Ole Opry.
Another thing that's closely related to what Joe has been talking about, a couple of weeks ago, we had a chance to perform at the Ryman, which is the mother church of country music here in Nashville. And we were the last show to ever play on the old stage at the Ryman Auditorium. As soon as our show was complete, they took that floor of that stage out of there and put a brand new floor in there. So we were actually part of history, actually performing the final show ever on that old stage at the Ryman Auditorium. So that was a great honor for us to be able to experience.
I believe. Well, my next question would be, there are so many artists you see coming and going. What led the Oak Ridge Boys stay so for a long time in the music business?
Well, we're very fortunate. We built a great foundation. In the 70s, we were lucky enough to string a whole lot of hits together. And then we toured with Kenny Rogers in the late 70s. Then in the 80s, we had even more bigger hits like Elvira, Thank God for Kids, Bobby Sue, American Made. We were able to keep that stretch of good music going on through the 80s into the 90s and become an established act. And we've always, our stage show is a very important aspect of what we do. We put a lot of time and energy into putting on the best show we can. And I think we're very blessed that God has given us the health to still be out there singing. There's a lot of great new kids singing country music today. Some of them will stay around a long time as well. Some probably won't. But that's always been the way the business goes. You know, you've been coming here a long time. Some people will endure, some won't. But I think we're very blessed and very honored to still be the Oak Ridge Boys. I heard William Lee say a few minutes ago in another interview that how important it is, you know, that God grant us the health to be able to keep doing this and being what we are. And William also alluded to, if he doesn't mind me stealing his line there, we still have a lot of people come to hear us sing. So, I mean, if we went out there, he alluded a little earlier, if we went out there to sing and nobody was there, we'd have to start questioning, well, why are we leaving home at our age and leaving our families and loved ones to come out here and sing if nobody cares? But the good news for the Oak Ridge Boys, people do care, and they're still coming out, and then we still give them the best we've got. And I think as long as that happens, we'll stay around. And like I said, some of these young kids today with the great music and the great look and the great act, they'll endure as well. And like I say, some probably won't. But we've been fortunate that we've lasted for not years, for decades.
So it sounds like that you don't like to retirement the next years.
No.
So what can we expect to see? Might be so, well, let's see, so in 20 years, the Oak Ridge Boys in a wheelchair.
There you
on
go.
stage.
Yeah, I'm going to get one of those walkers with the tennis balls on it. And the seat, you know, got the seat on it. So the tennis balls helps it move real good so I can still move. And then when I get tired, I can just sit down. And you're saying 20 years from now, I wouldn't count so much. I would be really pushing it. But I assure you, as long as God grants us good health, we will be out there singing.
By the way, you were in the music business by country music when country music was like so small. Country music now is so big now, and it changed so many things. Is there something you would change if you can in the music business for country music?
There's something that happened to the Oak Ridge Boys in, I believe it was the 80s, that might be interesting to your audience. It was certainly interesting to us. We flew to Munich and we did a television show over there, and local musicians were hired to back us up on the television show. We only took one of our band members with us, and we took a drummer. so that our tempos would be the right feel and everything. And the local musicians from Germany were the ones that were in our band, and they knew every lick on every song that we did. When we started to sing, it was like our record. And some of the greatest musicians that you could hear anywhere were there in Germany playing behind the Oak Ridge Boys, and I think that was something that really blew us away. We realized for many years, we toured Europe back in the 60s and early 70s. We went to a lot of places. In the 76, we went to the Soviet Union. So we've been in a lot of international markets. But I think that one television show and the fact that all of those musicians knew every note on every one of our songs really blew us away. It was like, I've heard Joe saying sometime, coming home and feeling like you're home, because they really made us feel like that. I would like to thank those pickers that played behind us, because I've never got an opportunity to do that. And I think the people of Germany, we took a tour of Munich and stayed there for 2 or 3 days, and it was a great trip for us. Basically all we did was that television show, but it was a great experience for the Oak Ridge Boys.
The last question. The new generation of musicians are on Facebook, MySpace, Twitter. Are you using in your age these social networks too?
Yes, we are. We're trying to utilize as much of it as we can. I think it's important. We live in a day and age right now where everybody wants to know what's going on. So I think it's important to feed them the information. And the Oak Ridge Boys are very good at doing our own Twitters and Facebooks and everything else, where it's actually us doing it. You're not got a million people following a PR firm here. You know, we do our own. And I think that personal touch with people is important. And it lets people know what we're doing, where we're at, what's coming up, you know. For instance, we're playing Las Vegas this coming weekend with the Orleans Hotel. The weekend after that, the Florida Strawberry Festival. The weekend after that, a big casino in Mississippi. All 3 of these venues tweet a lot. And we then retweet what they tweet, and we add to it that, yeah, we're excited about coming back to the Florida Strawberry Festival. We even got a joke with them every time we ever play the festival, it rains. So they've been joking on Twitter about us bringing umbrellas, you know, because when the Oaks play there, it always rains. And we're hoping that's not the case this year. I'm doing a Twitter interview with the Mississippi Date people. They've got a whole big little Twitterverse that they call Concerts Jam or something. It's affiliated with the Isle of Capri. And I'm doing a Twitter view with them next week. So, I mean, it never stops. I mean, regular radio interviews. Richard handles a lot of press and hard interviews on hard copy newspapers and radio. We keep our social network going. Our website, oakridgeboys.com, is active. Our Oak Ridge Boys YouTube is active. We try to keep that up to date with interesting things. For instance, next Tuesday, there's an album coming out where we did an album with the Dukes of Dixieland. We did 4 songs with the Dukes, and it's called When Dixie Meets Country. That album releases Tuesday. I have a video that I've been holding of the Oaks and the Dukes of Dixieland doing Elvira. I'll put that up on Oaks TV this week and help them promote their album. And so, I mean, it never stops, really. There's always something to do to keep it going.
And we're also trying to get some dates in the book to go back to Germany so we can tweet about it and Facebook and put it out there when those dates actually are. So we're looking to try to find the dates to get back to Germany as quick as we can.
We'd love that.
Good.
Oh yeah.
Sounds good.
Bring us over to Germany.
I will do my best.
Let's go.
So, folks, find out more information about the Oak Ridge Boys at Country Music News International, or if you like to get directly to them, check out their websites. Have a good one. Talk to you soon.